Launch director should verify go for launch. At T-minus 3 seconds, you'll see a green flash, which will be the Merlin engines igniting with the help of a substance called T-Teb. And then obviously at T0, we should see liftoff. We have confirmation that all of the propellants are loaded and that Falcon 9 is in startup. So the onboard computers have now taken over control. Passing 45 seconds. Any moment now we should be getting the go, and there it is. We have confirmation. Go for launch.
All right.
I love how you can still see all of the super cooled propellants around it with that kind of eeriness, but we are now 20 seconds away.
I'm sure it never gets old in mission control for them either.
Well, I'm sure as we hit T-minus 10. And again, our clock is to real time. The SpaceX feed is slightly delayed. So in real life, it should be just about lifting off, but on the stream here, you'll see it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And liftoff of Galaxy 37, continuing the great C-band reallocation. And it has cleared the lighting towers. Alright, Falcon 9 has taken flight. At this point, we should now be passing through max Q. That is the maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. And yes, absolutely love that rocket launch sound there from it. And we were actually using our camera from KSC, so if you heard these little squealing noise, that was the vehicle assembly building rumbling at just the right resonant frequency to make that cool sound.
Yeah, it was awesome. I went to the one of the Falcon Heavy launches and landings because they both came back to the landing site at Cape Canaveral, and the sonic booms make an amazing sound coming off that building. That metallic echo. It's amazing. It's another thing you just have to experience.
Yep, you can now see the plume expanding as the atmosphere gets thinner. It's not that the engines are moving or spreading out. It's just the atmosphere is a lot less thin and doesn't hold it as tight. So now we're going to be coming up on a few events in quick succession here. We should be expecting momentarily main engine cutoff. That's when the first stage stops firing, followed shortly after that by first and second stage separation, and finally the start of the second stage engine. So let's keep an eye out for that right about now. There we go. There's MECO, main engine cutoff. That appears to be separation. And there we go. There is stage 2 starting up. And here's a couple seconds behind replay so you can see it. You can also see which nozzle it is now on the second stage, which Team Normal, by the way, winning the poll, just saying.
Yep.
And that little strap that just came off, that is a stiffener ring that is used to keep the engine in its bell shape on the way up before it ignites.
So better luck next time for Team Stubby.
Yeah. Lon, look at that view on the left.
Oh my gosh.
What are we seeing?
So it looks to me as though we're seeing the lights from Florida below our returning booster. And what's amazing is when you see one of these night landings and just how crazy it is to see the ground coming up so quickly. We won't see that tonight, but pretty amazing. And it gives you an idea of what a space traveler might see of the night side of Earth when visiting. We really make our presence known here, don't we?
Yes, fairing separation, as
There
you
you
just
go.
saw there. So now the Galaxy 37 satellite is exposed to space. Those fairing halves on their 8th and 10th flight will hopefully fly each another time as they parachute down into the water, and Bob, excuse me, will go and recover them.
And they'll be
And
even
I
dirtier.
Oh yeah, and I do want to point out we did for a second there see the lunar jellyfish. So for those who are always wondering what that jellyfish looks like, that's what it was.
I think in Florida they're used to seeing the jellyfish at this point, but other parts of the country get some calls into the authorities about those.
Oh yeah, we've seen that out in California for the Vandenberg launches for sure.
And last night with the Antares launch, I was shooting next to a resort that people visit, and the band stopped playing and pointed everybody out the window to look at that rocket going up. It was really cool. Lots of
Wow.
cheers. Yeah,
We've
it's kind of good to get the word out about space. It's important.
And we have confirmation so for nominal trajectory. So everything proceeding exactly as planned so far. And with that, the first stage has just hit its apogee. That is the highest point in its orbit. So from now, it's no longer going up, instead moving its way down towards its landing on Just Read the Instructions. You can see to the left of the clock on the right screen, if that hopefully makes sense, the altitude number on the left there, 115, that is the height of the first stage booster. So you'll see that dropping as it works its way down to land. We should, in less than a minute, we should be seeing the first of the entry burns of the first stage. That will last for about 22 seconds per SpaceX, and that will basically use the fire from the engines to slow itself down, so fighting fire with fire.
That's also how those rockets get so sooty. I'm so focused on the dirt. I just like a well-worn rocket. I think it just speaks to the character, right?
Oh no, it's fine, because again, the thing I always like to point out is that the RP-1 is a refined form of kerosene, which is carbon-based. So carbon, you tend to get that soot on it, and that's why all the boosters are so sooty, and I believe the only booster that SpaceX has actually cleaned is the one that's now on display in Hawthorne.
I need a pretty heavy-duty power washer for that one.
Yeah, and there we go. That looks like engine ignition. Oh, that's definitely ignition on the first stage of the entry burn.
Back in the early days, those cameras used to get sooted up like almost immediately, and now it looks like they've been able to solve that problem.
Exactly.
A lot of, people don't realize just how much engineering goes into every little thing you don't even think about. How do we keep soot away from the camera?
From
How
what
do
I
we
can
keep
tell,
the camera from not vibrating so much that it can't perform? How do we keep the connection at sea? Oh, Starlink, so that we can have these beautiful views, right?
Right.
Julia, how was the launch for you, by the way?
I was occupied. It was a beautiful sound though, and I have a beautifully empty pad in front of me.
Fantastic. And we have less than a minute left in the second engine burn here, so we should be seeing SECO 1, second engine cutoff 1, in about 30 seconds or so. That is before the first stage landing burn starts. Sometimes it's the other way around. For this particular mission, we will see SECO before we see the landing burn of the first stage. Still such a great view of it in orbit there. And we are standing by for it to shut down the engines. Stage 1 at this point is now transonic.
I see that shutdown and the landing almost back to back here.
Yeah. Shutdown supposedly first, then landing. So there's the landing burn.
All right, here we go.
And we have SECO 1 as well on the right side of your screen. On the left, you can see the grid fins that are wiggling back and forth, helping to steer the vehicle towards Just Read the Instructions, which you can now see in view. We have landing leg deploy.
And it looks like
And
stuck the landing.
touchdown. The booster now completing 7. It now has a -7 at its name after this particular flight, and marks, as we mentioned earlier, the 139th consecutive booster landing without any issues, or at least that can then be brought back and reflown.
And sorry, that's all the rest of the fuel they're venting out?
I believe they're venting some of it out, not all of it. And we have
crew even boards to double check.
We never get to see it. Is it crispy or not so crispy?
Why should the U.S. Convert to Met super chat saying another wonderful evening launch? Well, we're glad you joined us for it.
This was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And I do want to thank everyone that joined us here. Julia, I know you have to head off momentarily, so thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
Off.
Oh. That's 2 puns I hear.
A blast off? Yeah.
I do not get pun tokens like you, so ha.
I mean, I've been informed here that I still had one left, because I had the double pun token, so... Anyway, also joining us is Lon Seidman. Thank you, Lon.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was great to be part of the stream tonight, and looking forward to helping out wherever I can.
It was a pleasure having you on the cameras last night and on the commentary tonight. Fantastic job. Come on, chat. I think you agree. He did an amazing job for his first time on air with NSF.
I'm a rookie here, so it's intimidating, but we did it. So, but thank you all for the warm welcome.
Congratulations and welcome to the club.
Thank you very much. And I've been coming down to the Cape for many years. I met Chris G probably 10 years ago, and it was been great just to follow the success of NASA spaceflight, and glad to be a part.
Time to crack the champagne bottle on the good ship NSF. She's now commissioned with you on board.
Excellent, thank you.
And, of course, a big thank you to the person behind the scenes, pushing the buttons, pulling all the levers, and making all of this get to your eyes, Mr. Patrick Culhoun. Thank you for operating, and hopefully someone at NSF eventually pronounces your last name correctly. And I am Sawyer Rosenstein, for those who don't know or who didn't see from the beginning. It's been an honor and a pleasure to view this launch with you, and hopefully we will see you back for the next launch. If not, don't forget, we have 24/7 views from Starbase in Texas, from McGregor, where they do all the engine testing and occasional Falcon 9 booster testing, and here at the Kennedy Space Center, where we have our cameras, like you see now, looking at the VAB, and you can watch all the progress at 39A and the VAB 24/7. Thank you everyone for watching, and in the words of Das, later nerds.
And here